Hey guys, TikTok here. Today I'm going to be talking about Quest Warrior and specifically the list I've been building recently. I started with a very basic Tortola shelf, so the Hydration Station, Tortola, Ziliax, and Spill build that we used to have in the past. And I added some of the new cards to it, typically Elise, which fits really nicely into the deck as you already have a 10. Sleep is a very easy card to add, Harm is already a 6, and so you have every cost basically from 1 to 10. And the Elise locations are actually really good in this deck because you can get Copy, which is insane. Discover is really good in Warrior. You can also get the 2-1 rushes, which deal easily with aggro early on. And it synergizes really well in the deck in general. You can copy a Ziliax, you can copy a Ham, copy a Tortola, even if it's a 5-5 or 10-10, it's pretty good. And then the Discover in Warrior, yeah, it's very OP. And so the one other big new card in the deck is the Quest, which I've been really enjoying. So you survive 10 turns, and then you get Latorvius, which then gives you 9 of the old Quest rewards. And once you get that down, usually you're going to win the game. You have Amara, which can get tutored by Quality Assurance. So Quality Assurance is going to be drawing your Amara late game potentially. You have All You Can Eat as well, that's going to be drawing the beasts. So you're going to be drawing Megafin from it potentially. You're going to be drawing Galvadon from it. You can draw Queen Carnassa from it. And then in general, these cards synergize really well together. So the Nether Portal synergizes really well with Crystal Core. And Crystal Core synergizes really well with Carnassa as well, because you shuffle 20 Raptors into your deck. So 20 3/2s that instantly draw a card, but they all become 5/5. So basically what happens late game against typically like Starship DK or some other deck is that you're gonna be spamming the board with 5/5s every single turn until you get to like your Time Warp Galvadon turns, and then you just OTK them from almost any amount of HP. I OTK'd from 80 plus today, I think. So the list, you run Shield Slam early game and mid game removal. Very good card, very good card. You can probably play Execute as well, but you would need to run activators for it, which is a bit weird, like Concussive Shell or even Slam. Dirty Rat, kinda mandatory right now because of the Druids. So Owl Druid is very prevalent in the meta, especially at top legend, like right now in top 200. And here we have a lot of Owl Druids. So Dirty Rat is really needed. It's also very good against Death Knights, as you can pull Exodar, you can pull Marine, you can pull even like the 1/4 or some of the Starship pieces before they get copied by an Elise location. Potentially, you can pull Elise as well or Ceaseless. Then Quality Assurance, insane card. A lot of people in Warrior like to run the Tortolan Traveler, but I've realized that even though this is a body, it's so much better to just have a spell that instantly draws to your big boys. So typically Tortola, Ziliax, or even Ham. Against the combo deck, Ham is really good. So then we have like the armor gain, so yeah, shield block, safety goggle, still broken card. It's been in the game for a long time. It's been a staple in Warrior for a long time. Then we have All You Can Eat, also a tutor card for Tortola, which is a beast, Marine, which is a pirate, the Hostile Invader, which is a demon, and Ziliax, which is a mech. We have new heights to ramp, very important card as well. I've seen lists not running the ramp, and I feel like it's a bit too slow against aggro, not against aggro, against control, because once you get to 10 mana, you actually don't have that many good plays with 10 mana. But if you get to 13 or 16 mana, you can actually play Hydration Station and then play something else on top of it. Like you can go Hydration Station in Yor, for example, or like Elise and then instantly drop a 10 mana location typically. Bulwark of Azinov, again, that's another card that's stacked specifically for Owl Druid because usually they don't really have that many instances of damage. They're going to be doing file, swipe, roots, or a bunch of what's it called? Incendious procs. Also, that's going to tank at least 30 damage against an owl deck. So like that's one way to potentially win the matchup. Then another new card is Shelnado. So Shelnado is very good against jug and aggro decks, way worse against slower decks and against combo decks, like typically the new low druid deck that runs carrier. It's not that good against it. That's why I used to play two, but now I'm playing only one. I'm considering even fully cutting it. Elise, insane card, completely broken. I usually go for 5 mana location if I don't have a 5 mana play. But if I do have a 5 mana play, typically a Yor or an Invader, then I'm likely to go for a 1 mana location. Copy is actually really good because you can potentially copy Invader or copy Ham, even copy Ziliax, even though it's not the poison Ziliax, I'll talk about that later. But like copy is really good. My go-to location is usually going to be Discover and either Armor or copy. Discover being the best one as well, because you have a lot of removal in your deck, but the amount of extra removal you can get from Elise is insane. Then with Yor, another card that's been staple in Warrior, I used to not run it, and since I've been running it, I've realized how very, very powerful it is. Brawl, you really need it against low druid as well. You need it against the jug decks. You need it against DK when they launch their big starships. Chemical Spill, again, that's a staple from before with Tortola. You can also use Chemical Spill for the Ziliax, but it's a bit worse. And late game, you can potentially Chemical Spill some of the minions that you don't necessarily want to play just to make hand space. I've played like Chemical Spill on the monkey typically. That's a common thing that you can do just so you keep the card that you have in hand, but you discard the card and you get rid of hand space. Invader is a very good card against aggro. That's typically a card that I would probably like. This is a cut that I could see very easily. I could see myself putting double Invader and only one Shelnado, but I'm not really there yet. I'm kind of considering it. Ham, it's there because it's a tourist. Works with new heights. Also, you revive it from hydration. It's very good. Marine, it's a 7. So yeah, Ham is also a 6, by the way. So like Ham is a 6 for Elise. You need 1 through 10. 7 with Marine, that also works with Elise, but it's also a really powerful card. You can get it consistently with all you can eat. So Marine into Wand, even though Wand got nerfed, it's still very, very strong. Sleep, you need an 8 mana card. I think Sleep is better than Shaladrasil. Actually, no, I still do have it. I think Shaladrasil is worse than Sleep, not by that much, but I think it's slightly worse. And it also depends on what you want to do, but I kind of want to be less greedy, so I would rather play Sleep over Shaladrasil. Then Ziliax. Ziliax, a lot of people have played with the 5/7 Ziliax with Poisonous, which used to be really strong because you would have Reborn on it, but nowadays it's a lot worse to have Poisonous, as you don't necessarily have that many minions that die to the Poisonous Ziliax regardless. Like 6 damage is going to deal with the minion most of the time. And if you think about it, right, unless you spill the Ziliax, this is actually 12 damage. And so 12 damage and 12 healing is going to be a lot better than 5 damage and 5 healing, even if the 5 damage instantly kills the minion. Like, you can kill a Ceaseless with this, you're gonna heal 12, and you're gonna have a bigger board than if you play only the 5/7 Ziliax that's gonna trade into the Ceaseless. And the downside of it coming back from Hydration Station instead of the 5/7 is very negligible because unless there is a minion with more than 6 HP on board, it's not going to make a single difference, right? And you heal one more. Like you literally just heal one more if you play the copy version than the compared to the elusive version. So yeah, I like it a lot more. And then yeah, endgame, Tortola, Hydration Station. So when it comes to the mulligan and the matchups, one of the hardest matchup for the deck, sadly, is Murloc Paladin. Even though I know it's very prevalent at lower ranks, it's not really that played in higher ranks, and so that's also why I've been able to climb with the deck. One other matchup that's relatively hard is Owl Druid, but also that's not necessarily a matchup that's seen much that's at lower ranks. The good thing for this deck is that it's very, very, very good against DK in general. So Starship DK gets farmed quite a bit by this deck. I'm going to be showing a game of me playing in Starship DK after this. And you also beat jug decks pretty consistently. All you need usually is a spill on Tortola, and that's already enough to beat DK, DH, what else is there with jug? DK and DH, those are already two big ones. Like, I know DH doesn't have jug, but like just an aggro deck. And then Priest, you have to be careful because if you spill Tortola against Priest, sometimes they can play Vol'jin, and then they swap the attack, and then your Tortola is not as good. So that's also one thing to be careful of. But that's also the reason why I play the Ziliax of copies, because it's so much better against aggro. Like, this card solos aggro so hard if you get ramp early. And so the mulligan against aggro is going to be pretty straightforward. So you keep shield block, you keep ramp, at least one, not two. Two is a bit greedy. You keep Elise in every single matchup always. You keep Shelnado always against aggro. And I would always keep it on the coin, I think. I would always keep it if I have already new heights on the play. I wouldn't keep it with nothing else on the play though. And then spill, you usually keep it. I would keep it against DH. I would keep it against DK. I probably wouldn't keep it against Priest again because of the whole Vol'jin thing, where like against Priest it's better to have just good removal into Ziliax. And then the overall game plan. So against aggro, the overall game plan is pretty straightforward. It's going to be try to get spill on Tortola. So quality assurance is really good. All you can eat is really good. I wouldn't keep them though. So like that's the tricky part, is that you need spill more than you need Tortola. Even though that sounds counterintuitive, you have two spills, but you have 1, 2, 3 Tortolas, and you also have Ziliax, which is not a bad target for spill. And so it's more important to get the spill than getting Tortola. Then against Druid, you want to keep Rat because of Low, because of Owl. Try to have a lot of armor because before you Rat, so that you can kill a carrier potentially with Shield Slam. Bulwark, never keep, for example. Brawl, also never keep. Hostile Invader, I would only keep it if I already have new heights. Or maybe on the coin against aggro, if I know for a fact it's aggro. And then anything above, never keep. Only keep Tortola if you already have Spill. So like Spill plus Tortola, that's a keep. But yeah, otherwise don't keep Tortola. That's mostly it for the mulligan. Alright, so the first game, we're gonna be against DK. Usually when I see a DK at these ranks, I'm assuming that it's a Starship DK. So nothing crazy. There's a new list going around, which is Double Blood, One Unholy. And they run the new 4-3 Lifesteal Rush. And they run like no Corpse Explosion usually. It's more of an aggro-ish list, right? They just play a bunch of minions, and then they launch the starship, and they try to kill you with like multiple starships and reborn the starship and stuff like that. So this game I kept New Heights. I like to keep the quest. I've been keeping the quest every time. It's not correct. You shouldn't be keeping the quest in every matchup. You should keep the quest only against control decks, but it's it's just a card I really like, and so I always keep it, but don't do it like me. So here, yeah, we coined the new heights because we have Elise on turn 4. Otherwise, I would just hero power and pass, and then play the new heights on 3, and then hope to get a 5 by then. So either hostile invader or your. But this game we actually get a decent curve where we get to play the Elise on turn 3 and get to go for a 5-mana allocation because I don't have a follow up. The first discover, we have the 2-1 with Rush or Armor. I feel like the 2-1s are pretty good because I want to take a bit of board, and then I'm slightly annoyed because I didn't hit Discover, but Summon 5-5 is also pretty good. No need to play the safety goggles early, you just keep the safety goggles for a Shield Slam or the Invader. I'm hoping that the Elise lives here, because if it does, then I actually play the location and can click the copy, which it does, which I'm really happy about. I'm really happy that they went face. I would have been in a bit of a bad spot if they went for the trade, but this way I get to play the location and actually activate it, because you can't activate the location if you don't have a target to copy. So yeah, trade the 2/2, see what happens, and then I should be trading the leeches. Just make sure that the leeches are down. Sometimes people play the 3/5, that makes the leeches deal one more. It's a good practice to just get rid of them while you can, because they tend to stick around sometimes, and then they deal a lot of damage, and yeah, it's just good to kill them. So my opponent goes for 1/4, and the 2/2, it's kind of annoying. My hand is not great, like I don't have, well, anything to do, so I'm just not gonna do anything. I am hoping for any kind of draw right now, so Yor would be amazing, Shield Block would be decent, Quality Assurance, or All You Can Eat, try and hit the Tortola to then spill it. This is one of the downsides of playing a list with double hydration, double spill, but I think it's good to also show sometimes where you lower a tiny bit and don't get spill early, and kind of have to just do what you can with what you're given. So here, pretty behind on board. Hopefully I get a good draw. This is not really a good draw, so Dirty Rat here doesn't really do that much. I might have to play it. Yeah, I'm gonna play it. Let's see what happens. So we dropped Ziliax, which it's okay, but it's not great. Like, I would rather have that be a Kill Jaden or an Exodar. Or maybe like even an Amelia, potentially. Something that like they actually wanna have in hand instead of on board. Where Ziliax, they kinda just wanna have it on board. But it could have been Starship P, so it's not that bad. Also worth to note that they're running the DK location, so it might be a slightly different DK deck, but they play also the 1/4, which is which is an unholy card. So I already know that there is no triple blood card, so no vampiric blood. I'm just drawing some cards. Nothing really. Yeah, I'm looking at my quest. I'm not exactly sure when it's gonna proc. I am really happy about that 2/3. I would love to get card draw, and so the 2/3 getting pulled is amazing for me. Can actually get card draw from that. They're trying to be aggressive a tiny bit. Like, them playing against Quest Warrior, I feel like they might know that they're slightly unfavored. Marine is a huge top deck here. Tortola is an even better one. This way I can instantly stop bleeding. So I see Tortola, I see that they're playing the 1/4. So if they play the 1/4, they don't run Vampiric Blood, and they also don't run the corpse, the poison card on an undead. And so if there is no poison card on an undead, then dealing with Tortola is extremely hard. And my Elise is at 5 attack, which means that if they run Horseman, the DK hero, they also can't actually deal with the Tortola. That's like another thing to know and think about sometimes. It's actually kind of funny. The Leech is hitting my face instead of my Tortola, because my Tortola has less HP. More HP, I mean. So here, Marine, we go for card draw. I am dealing with the taunt because I am worried of potentially him having a way to deal with the Tortola. So if they have a way of dealing with the Tortola, I instantly get 14 damage pushed in my face, and so I would rather play on that. I'm also getting closer and closer to the quest completion, so that's something that's really big to keep in mind. As the quest completion can instantly get you to 40 HP with Amara, or give you a lot of tempo with like Time Warp, for example. Even though usually against DK you're gonna keep Time Warp to OTK them. So I get the location back as well. I might use the location to copy the Tortola if it doesn't get cleared. Yeah, so like exactly what I was saying, they had the horseman, but I think here they could have traded some minions in first to then kill the Tortola with the horseman. So I think that was a bit of a misplay. They could have gone hero power, hit into the Tortola, and then 2/3 and 5/3 into the Tortola, make it a 7 attack minion. then play Horseman and kill it. It would not be pretty, obviously. Like it's really not pretty, but I think it's better than killing the 6/6. So now we finally have some powerful draw. The Shellnado is insane here because it clears the entire board, and I get a big Tortola. Um, I go for the spill instead though, which honestly I'm looking at it back again. Like I played this on stream earlier today. This is definitely wrong, I feel like, but huh. I guess past me made misplays too. It happens. Yeah, I think it was probably better to play the Shellnado and just push the damage and keep a big healthy Tortola. Um, Also worth to note, this is before I replaced the poisonous Ziliax with the copy Ziliax. I wasn't always convinced which one was better. Now I'm pretty much convinced that the copy one is better, but again, like it's good to keep thinking of those things and just double guess yourself every time. I go to 11 mana next turn, so I could actually go for play like Shellnado plus hydration. I could also just go for sleep, try to get more card draw. We're getting close to the completion of the quest, so that's something that's really important to know. Is that when the quest is getting completed, right, you want to be at 8 cards in hand because the quest completes at the start of your turn and the aided gets added to your hand at the start of your turn. So that means that you want to have 8 cards. That's exactly what I'm looking at right now. Is that this is at 9 out of 10, and so when it goes to 10 out of 10 at the start of my next turn, it's going to go into my hand. And so if I had 9 cards, it would go into my hand, and then I would overdraw a card, which it doesn't matter that much in this case. But like overdrawing a brawl would not be great because they're going to launch the Starship at some point. Overdrawing harm would also not be great because that's straight up a really good card. With hydration. Harm is actually the reason why I didn't use the location, by the way. So I was keeping the copy on the location this entire time, specifically for Ham. But I think if I remember correctly, I will have to give up on that plan altogether because it's been it's been a bit difficult to just keep holding everything. So here I'm gonna trade first, and I'm gonna rat. I could do it in the other order. I don't think it matters too much. And like here I'm thinking about playing the 8/8 because if I play the 8/8 then I play around rat, but also it's very unlikely for the DKs to be running rat right now, so it's and I also have to be thinking about Bob. So Bob is kinda tricky to play around because they can steal your 8/8. So like there is a world in which you try to suicide your 8/8 as you play it if you think your opponent is running Bob. But I feel like I'm also not necessarily in a spot to do that right now. So I think I'm very likely to just drop the 8/8 and just go. So here I'm like really thinking about it, and I end up deciding not to drop the 8/8, just dump a bunch of armor. Which here it's fine. Like usually you keep the armor gain for shield slam, but like I'm already at so much armor that like I should always have enough armor to deal with a big starship. And since I'm also running the poisonous Ziliax, I can always kill the starship very easily with my Ziliax that's in there. So now we're kind of just being patient, waiting for a good opportunity to play the quest reward. Still trying to wait out Ham because if I play the quest reward first, I shuffle 7 cards into my deck and then it makes Ham less likely to be drawn. So I would rather try to greed that as long as I can, but it's getting too greedy trying to wait for Ham now, so I feel like I'm gonna have to play the quest. Also, still having double brawl in deck is slightly awkward because I know they're going to be launching anytime soon. Here, Goblet. Um, Playing Goblet here is awkward, right? Because I have the 5/5. I have the quest reward, so I feel like it's a good. idea to just play the quest reward. So I'm going to be clearing a tiny bit of the board because I don't really have good removals right now. I'm just going to play the Shellnado. And I get very average things, honestly. Here, this is a bit of a misplay. I think if I wanted to... Yeah, I don't think I was supposed to play the... I don't think I was supposed to play the Goblet because now I overdraw and I don't want to overdraw Time Warp. I don't want to overdraw Nether Portal. So this was a bad play by me, straight up. Worth noting the cute interaction though between Crystal Core and the Elise location, getting the 3/5/5s. That's always really nice. And from this point on, I'm basically trying to spam the board with 5/5s. Like, I know the Hydration Station is going to revive a 5-mana Tortola, but it's not that bad because it means that all the other minions in my deck are going to be 5/5. So like once I get Queen Carnasa, it's going to be 25/5s in my deck that I can just spam basically. And then same thing with the Nether Portal and all of that. So I overdrew Barnabas, which is completely fine. I'm glad I did not get punished, even though I deserve to, honestly. And here we just keep waiting a tiny bit. We play the Amara. We go to 40 HP. I can't really clear the 1/4 here properly without killing my entire board, so I'm just not going to do that. And yeah, there's not really a reason to do anything big. Like, I can kill the 8/8 with the Shield Slam, which I think is fine. I end up deciding to just play a second Amara, which I think is also fine. Like, I have a third one, and I just want as much tempo as I possibly can, because if I get Time Warp, it's really good. It's potentially lethal, and they are getting close to no cards in deck. They have like 5 cards in deck at this point. So I want to pressure them into either launching or trying to remove the board. They could be playing Corpse Explosion. I don't actually remember whether my opponent played Corpse Explosion this game or had it in their deck. But they're just doing some plays, just having very very big minions from the 5-drop there. I think the 5-drop was discovered. I'm not actually sure. And so yeah, here I'm like just slowly getting to my end game. I'm looking in my deck how many beasts and things like that I have. I only have one beast. So I have 2 beasts, right? But the all you can eat only draws one of them. And I get Karnasa. As soon as I see Karnasa, my very first instinct is to go towards the hydration station, because I now know that I'm probably going to be playing the Karnasa soon. And if I play the Karnasa, it also means that it's unlikely for me to get ham. And so, since I already clicked on the location earlier, I am kind of giving up on the ham gameplay, because they're also running out of cards straight up. So like, indirectly running out of minions, and if they don't have minions, then ham is completely useless. It's a 6-mana 3/3, and so it doesn't really make sense for me to keep greeding the hydration station, where I could get a lot of tempo from them right now. And it's also kind of good to get cards out of my hand to get the value from the Murgurgle, which is the Murloc in my hand, which gives me, it fills my hand with Murlocs. But so again, they're all 5/5s, and so it's pretty good. Here, my opponent does something that's like relatively annoying, where they get another copy of their quest by giving it Reborn, and I'm not really getting my Time Warp. So this spot is not that great. Like, I end up having to play Galvadon because I just need tempo at this point. The Living Spores, I should have clicked on the Living Spores. That was a misplay on my end. I think I realized afterwards. No, I did not realize. Okay. Yeah, I'm an idiot. But that's okay. Yeah, I should have clicked. I should have clicked on the Living Spore, because again, think of the aura. All your minions are 5/5s. So Living Spore from Galvadon is really good. And so here I get a bunch of Murlocs. I don't have a spell that's cheaper than 2 mana, so the 2 mana Murloc in my hand is not really useful. But again, they're all 5/5, so it's pretty good. I'm kind of just waiting for the nether portal that doesn't really come. But at the same time, I keep forcing my opponent to remove stuff. I feel like he might not have Exodar. Like at this point, I find it very weird that they didn't launch the chip. But I guess at the same time they drew the head for the horseman, so they have a lot of other things they can do, and they probably think that they can beat me in the late game with the double quest reward plus horseman plus the starship. Like it's a lot of value, and it's a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of things that I have to remove, and it's not trivial at all to remove all of those. So again, I go for hydration. I get the Ziliax that can instantly kill the 14-12. And I'm trying to have a good amount of tempo. Sulfuras is pretty nice because I can start launching some fireballs. It goes into the minion, but it's still pretty good. And so yeah, from here the main goal is to get my nether portal, to get my time warp, and try to set up a kill in 2 turns. So the max damage you can have on board is 35. It's very unlikely they leave me with 35 damage on board, but if I can just have like 20 or 15 damage on board into 35 damage, it can normally kill them. So it's like basically if I stick 4 or 5 minions, right, on top of the Rag Fireball, that's already like 15 plus another 8 from the Fireball, 23, and then another 30 to 35 potentially. And so that's close to 60 damage already. That's like 50, 53, 58 damage, depending. I also have the weapon to push. So like, if you think about 50 to 58 damage, right, that's kind of close to lethal. And here, I don't quite have lethal, I think. But I am really, really close. I'm most likely doing the math right now. If I play 3 Murlocs, I would have 35 on board, 39 with the weapon, then 47 with the hero power, but he gains armor from the taunt, and I have to kill the taunt, so it's not actually lethal. It's very close, though. It's probably like 9 off or something there. 9 up for 13 off, I'm not exactly sure. And like, again, I keep my opponent busy just dealing with a bunch of 5/5s. Like, he ended up just never launching the ship, which to me is crazy, but I feel like they really wanted max value from the ship, and they probably didn't necessarily think about the time warp. And I think here it ends up being lethal because I have 15 on board. Yeah, this is just a lot of damage, so I think this is lethal. I hope I didn't miss it because I'm watching the replay. So yeah, I think if I just spam the board with 5/5s and time warp and just go face, I think it's lethal. I can brawl at the very end to guarantee that the right shot goes face. I mean, maybe not guarantee, but like make it likely that it goes face. I think I'm mostly counting, so it's 24, but I hit into the minion, so it's actually 19, and they go to 58. So then 58 minus 19, that's 39, and so I actually do need the right shot to go face, basically. Like here, I'm 4 off if the right shot doesn't go face. I end up going for a line that honestly, probably wrong. Because I think I go for lethal with brawl this turn, which I'm not sure if it's straight up wrong, but it's definitely questionable. It's like I put them at 43, right? I have 39 on board, so 45 from the minions, then 4 from the weapon, and so I brawl my own board to get the last damage because I couldn't gain armor for the AOE. That wouldn't clear anyways, and so I just went for the 7 and 9, like 7 out of 9. It's lethal here, and I think that's fine to go for. It's yeah, it's maybe not that maybe not correct, but good enough. And yeah, that was game 1. Now game 2, we're against a druid this time. So Druid, very very scary matchup, as I already said. We see new heights, we keep new heights. I I should not be keeping the quest here, by the way. This is for information. You're not supposed to keep the quest. I made it my mission to keep the quest in every matchup, because I have a problem. But you should not be keeping the quest. The quest is only a card that you really want against DK and like sometimes against slower decks like Armor Demon Hunter, or I honestly can't really think of many other slow decks. I mean, for the mirror, it's really good. I've played against a warrior that didn't have the quest and it was really good in the mirror. But yeah, DK is the big one. It's honestly very popular, so it's not that bad. So in this game, the reason why I coined all you can eat here is because I have a 75% chance of getting Tortola. I have 4 minions in my deck that have a trait, and so Tortola Beast, then Marine Pirate, the hostile invader is a demon, and then Ziliax is a mech. And so if I go for coin, if I go for coin, all you can eat into new heights, and then chemical spill, it's very likely that I'm going to chemical spill a Tortola, which is very good against Druid, but it's also sometimes scary because Druid they can ceaseless your Tortola for 0 mana right after they play low. And thinking about it now again, I think the order was wrong. I think I'm still supposed to coin the new heights, and then that way I have a chance to actually draw one of those 4 minions, so Hostile Invader, Marine, Ziliax, or Tortola, from my deck. Because then if I draw one of them, then it's actually guaranteed I get the Tortola on turn 5 from the Chemical Spill. So here, very awkward. I rat trying to hit the low. I miss. I hit the ceaseless instead. So I have to take a bunch of damage. I think the Dirty Rat was fine. Honestly, I don't really have very good plays otherwise. I'm just kind of passing the turn. So that your top deck was actually really clutch. I am taking damage, but what's good to know is that it's not that bad to take damage as long as you're not dead. Um, And so here I get the Quality Assurance, which actually is a really big top deck because it allows me to potentially get the Tortola. It's a 2 and 3 to get Tortola here, so actually likely. And I do get the Tortola, I do get the spill off. And getting the spill off on the Tortola now, and knowing that there is no ceaseless, means that the Tortola is going to live, or at least tank the entire board, because they don't run Silence in that deck, they don't run Black Knight. There is no way for them to actually bypass the Tortola, apart from trading into it. And if they play a carrier here, for example, so the 214 that summons 4/4/1s, it actually doesn't do that much because I just ball the board away. So that card was from Barnabas. Since they did not gain armor from it, I knew it was lower than 5 attack. So I knew it was Xavius or Carrier, or potentially Elise if they run that. I feel like they don't run Elise, but maybe they do. And now they realize they didn't have enough to kill the Tortola, but it's probably still correct to just punch the Tortola because they need to play carrier anyways. So I get a very decent clear. It's not perfect, but I only leave a giant up at 1 HP, and it's going to die to the 3/5 anyways. Invader is actually a really good card even in these matchups because like now, if he wants to play carrier, right, he might have to just trade the giant first, and I don't take the 8 damage, and so like the invader ended up just fully clearing the board on its own, basically. Yeah, like see, it has to trade. It has to trade into the invader before they can play the carrier. The carrier is really scary. I have a brawl here. I'm probably gonna have to do the brawl, and I'm really praying that the carrier does not win the brawl, because if the carrier wins the brawl, it's almost game over. I would say it's not 100% game over, but actually, in this spot, it's probably automatically game over almost. The carrier does live, so yeah, I am currently dead to double swipe because I'm at 28, and so the carrier deals 20. That was what, a 1 in 6, so 16% for the carrier to live. It's pretty unlucky. But it's not actually game over unless they have double swipe. So again, if there is no double swipe, like second carrier doesn't actually do it because the first carrier summons 4, then the second carrier only summons 1, so there would be 4 off. So it's only combinations of double swipe or carrier swipe. Those are the only burn cards they have, and so they play one swipe. Actually, as you can see, I got ready to concede there because I knew that double swipe is lethal, but they didn't have the second swipe. And so this is 3 off with hero power, and I'm actually not that dead. Um, I do need to do something though. I get the 5 armor from the Yor. This is one of those spots where having the Ziliax that has poisonous would be probably pretty good, but at the same time, like the Ziliax that has poisonous would heal only for 5, where this Ziliax is healing for 12 and being a nuisance on the board. So now since I know they only had one swipe, I know they don't have the second swipe, so they can't just like trade the 4 ones in and then swipe my face. So yeah, very good news. I just healed to full. This is again like a good way to showcase that the Ziliax that copy can be very good and can be potentially better than the one that has poisonous. And so yeah, they just kill, which makes sense. They force me to remove this before they go in with another board. They don't really have to commit more than this. This is already a really annoying board to deal with. But thankfully, with that Ziliax play, I actually managed to set up a Shellnado clear. I think that's what I'm gonna go for. Like, it doesn't really make sense to brawl this when they still have scenarios. So yeah, actually, I end up going for Rat instead, which... Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah, this is much better actually. Oops. Yeah, okay, past me played better. Yeah, I had the hydration with everything in it actually, and so the Ziliax clears the rest of that. I just need to rat something to make sure that they don't have either a big scenario turn or a fire rack turn. So I ended up ratting the fire rack. Ratting the Ziliax would have also been fine because that's also like another way to deal with my board. And this is very much the end of their deck. This is their last big board, and I still have Brawl. They could potentially have another carrier, which would be a problem, but I I think at this point it should not win the game because I also get the quest reward, and so I brawl this board away. If a minion from if their minion lives, it's still okay. It's anyways more likely for their minion to live. So like worst case, a 10-13 Ziliax lives, and it's not the end of the world. But it ends up being Fyrak, which is also a pretty big minion. Um, Here it's interesting that I go for the sleep. I'm actually not sure why I go for the sleep. I feel like it would have been better to just play the quest reward. Oh, actually, no, I see why I go for the sleep. I just go for the sleep to get the shield slam from my deck and clear that Fyrak. It was really likely I still had 2 shield slam in deck, and so I just wanted to make sure that I don't take the 9 from the Fyrak. It's actually probably a fine line. And so here I have my quest reward ready for next turn. I have my bulwark ready in case they have another carrier. And I think this is the spot where my opponent conceded the game because I feel like they were just out of removal and they just had spells left. Yep. And yeah, that was the last game. I would love to know if this is the kind of content that you guys enjoy. I am not 100% sure if I'm going in too much details or not. I love to talk about Hearthstone, and I think it's good to be able to talk about Hearthstone at a high level, but at the same time, I don't want you guys to feel like I'm going too fast. And so, if you want me to explain more things and like have more pictures on screen, etc., while the video is running, I will try to do a better job editing. It takes a while, but I feel like it's worth it. And so yeah, feel free to subscribe if you enjoy the content. I also try to stream every day. At least I will be trying to stream every day this summer on my Twitch channel. So TikTok_HS on Twitch. And yeah, see you guys next time. So yeah, I'm gonna voice over some of the gameplay I've had with the game, with the deck, sorry, and see you guys again.